go. All right, fantastic. So everybody can see me, everybody can hear me. Jenna from Ontario, welcome. Good to have you here. We're officially gonna get started. All right, so welcome everybody to the 5 ways that I achieve freedom from gas, bloating, indigestion, and weight gain without having to take meds, without going on a diet, and without giving up the foods I love. I am really glad that everybody is here today, and I don't take it lightly that you've committed to spending roughly the next 90 minutes with me. I'm going to try to keep it under 90 minutes, but depending on how much interaction we have, we'll see. But usually we can keep it under 90. Like I mentioned, this is an interactive training. We're going to have a conversation together. So make sure you keep the chat box open on your screen, answer any questions, throw anything out there that comes up for you. Engagement really makes the most out of our time together. So let's get started. So probably you're here because, you're looking for a solution to your gas, bloating, digestive issues, possibly weight gain, and other health concerns. So it's super important that you block out distractions. I want to make sure that you're able to focus on the training. So, close the door, turn off your phone, tell the kids they gotta leave you alone for an hour, whatever it is that's going on for you. Just try to be here with me for this next amount of time. Oh, Monique. Hi, Monique. It's you, Monique. I see. Elliot. Well, I cannot promise that your puppy dog is going to be able to listen to me, but he can watch too. There's nothing wrong with that. It's really good to have you here. Nice to be here with you. Yeah, so we're gonna want to focus together for the next 90 minutes if we can. And on that note, I will remind you that I have a special gift for all of you here attending live with me because everybody likes getting presents, right? So everything that I share with you today on the training is equally important and really important for, learning about how to handle your digestive issues. So I want everybody to be able to commit to staying till the end of the webinar if they can. And I cover this gift, this bonus at the end. So you don't want to miss that, right? Basically, I'm bribing you, true. But close to the end of the webinar, I'm going to post a link in the chat where you're going to be able to get instant access to my gift, which is the Gut Healing Program meal plan. So this is a 6-day meal plan that comes with all the recipes included. You have a full shopping list and a prep guide as well if you wanted to use this meal plan for meal prep, which just basically means, you get everything ready ahead of time so that the rest of the week is super easy. And it walks you through how to do that meal prep too, which is brilliant, right? It's a really great gift. The meal plan itself, gives your tummy sort of a break from the common things that can irritate it. And it uses lots of different gut supportive nutrients, also includes fermented foods, which help support the microbiome. It's a really great starting place if you want to kind of dive into improving your gut health. So this is a good gift. I use it in my own practice. I sell it for $200, so it has value in itself. So it's definitely in your best interest to, stay till the end. That's what I'm saying here in all those words. So let me know in the comments if you can stay until the end. I'd love to know who's going to be with me throughout the whole webinar today. Pop it in the chat and let me know. Hi, Sheila from North Carolina. You are dealing with IBS, stomach, gut issues, everything that goes with it. Yes, IBS was sort of, where I started from in this whole process. Yeah, many years ago, so I can relate to that for sure. Libby's staying, Monique is staying with you and for you. God love you, Monique. Really happy to have you here. Okay, ladies, so this is my promise to you today. By the end of today's training, I'm going to show you sort of how to shift from where you probably are right now, which is, being a prisoner to your digestive issues, right? I'm going to help you shift from this sort of feeling of being trapped like a prisoner to knowing exactly how to address and handle your digestive issues, how you can get rid of them once and for all for good so that you can kind of take control back over your body, so that you are able to look and feel your best and just get back to this business of living, getting back to living your life really is the driving factor that most of us come to when we begin to see that we want to do something about our health, right? I mean, we can have, the gas and the bloating, a little bit of weight gain, whatever's going on. But until it starts to impact our lives and how we can really show up in our lives, we don't seriously consider doing something about it. But when our lives begin to start to look different, when we can't show up the way we want to, I feel like that's when that light bulb sort of goes on and we think, you know what? I don't want this to continue. I don't want this to get any worse. I want my life back, right? And that can be the catalyst for a lot of great change. So if you can kind of relate to that, and if you can, identify with that feeling of your life not being exactly maybe how you would have it, then you're definitely in the right place today. I did a lot of Googling back in the day when I first started to get sick, and Googling ended up taking up a lot of my time. So, I mean, can you imagine a life where you are not Googling anymore? You're skipping all of this trial and error, and you're just doing the things that really work, that really move the needle. I know that when I learned the steps that I'm going to share with you today, it changed my life, and it has certainly changed my clients' lives. And I know that it can change yours too. Does that sound good? Let me know in the chat if it does. Oh, Monique, thank you for saying that. Monique is actually, I'll call her a graduate, although we never really graduate. We always are growing and learning, right? But Monique has participated in my program that I'm going to tell you a bit more about today as well. So thank you for the vote of confidence there, Monique. Thank you for saying that it works. That's amazing. Really glad that you're here again. All right. So before we get in any further, let me know if you can relate to any of this. Are you tired of buying maybe random supplements that you've heard are good for the gut, but doesn't really do anything to help you? Are you fed up with giving up all of the foods, right? All your favorite foods. Or maybe, you're sick and tired of going on the latest fad diet, right? A lot of these restrictive diets, we try them because we hope that it's going to stop our digestive symptoms or maybe even help us shed a few pounds if that's something that we need to do. But they never seem to work, right? Are you maybe guzzling the Pepto-Bismol or popping Tums like candy? That was definitely me for sure. Are you sick of white knuckling it through food cravings? Are you unsure how to maybe get a handle on all of the gut symptoms that you're struggling with or get a handle on your weight so that you can put an end to all of this once and for all? And do you feel like maybe you're on an emotional roller coaster ride, as you're going from motivated and ready to tackle your problems and feeling like there's lots of hope and you can do this, to just being frustrated and disappointed and filled with shame that another attempt has not happened, right? So let me know in the chat if any of these things sort of resonate with you or if any of these struggles mirror your own. Let me know what's going on for you guys. I'll wait and see. Anybody relate to any of those things? All right, Caroline says, yes, the emotional roller coaster. Definitely, right? That was definitely a big one, especially when we're trying lots and lots of things. Monique, you used to. Good. I'm glad that you don't anymore. That's a good sign for sure. But I will say, if you are nodding your head in agreement to any of these points, then I promise you, I'm not a stalker, I'm not watching you, but you're not alone in this, right? I have literally done all of these things. Um, Let me see what I've got here in the chat. Jenna. Jenna, I'm going to write your name down because I can't keep scrolling back and I have the worst memory. I'm like a goldfish. So Jenna says, yes, she can relate to all of those things. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. 90% eat at home using whole foods, but love sugar. No fast food. Can't lose 10 pounds. The sugar piece. Yes, I can really relate to that as well. Libby. I'm just going to write your name down as well because I don't want to call you Robinson's iPad. So I can remember there. Perfect. Yes, Libby. The sugar piece, we're going to come back to that in the training today because that's a big one. That's one of those red flags that we see a lot, and it is actually related to the state of the gut microbiome. Those sugar cravings can be really difficult. So we're going to talk a lot about that. So that's going to be really helpful for you, definitely. Um, so I want to say, ladies, women like us, and I'm going to make a generalization here, but this is something I have found to be true time and time again. So women like us, we can be high achievers, right? We can be busy, we can be doing all the things, we can be looking after everybody else around us. Maybe we're raising humans, right? Maybe we've got small humans, or maybe our humans are getting bigger now. Like I have three kids, but they're all older teenagers at this point. Maybe you're at the height of your career, or you have lots of different responsibilities in the home, right? Basically, we're women that put ourselves last. That's kind of like our default setting, right? We put ourselves last and we make sure all the things are getting done. But I have learned that it is almost impossible, to really do it all and not have our bodies begin to protest, right? So if you feel anything like I used to, I would have done anything to get rid of my symptoms so I could live my life the way I wanted, right? I wanted to be able to do all the things. So I would try lots of things with this goal of getting rid of the symptoms, but nothing ever seemed to work. And if something did help a little bit, it would never last and things would go back to the way they used to be. So, what I'm about to share with you today is the fastest and simplest way to wake up every day with more energy, feeling great, ready to live life to the fullest. To stop relying on over the counter meds to manage your symptoms if that's something that you're doing. You'll be able to put on the little black dress, or maybe it's the pencil skirt at work, or whatever it is that you want to be able to wear with confidence and be able to get out and go enjoy your life again. You'll be able to stop dieting, stop giving up all the foods that you love, and stop skipping the meals to keep the symptoms at bay. So let me know in the comments which scenario is the one that really resonates for you, or what do you want, right? What are you looking for in your life to get back, maybe? For me, it was to be able to wear the clothes that I wanted for sure, but really, I wanted to be able to live my life without feeling like crap all the time. You know what I mean? I didn't want my digestive symptoms to dictate where I could go that day, or how far away from my house I could go, or if I could watch my son's baseball game the whole way through without having to race off in the car to the nearest bathroom, that kind of thing. So let me know in the comments, please, what is your main reason, right? What do you really want? Let me know. So before we go any further, I would like to be able to introduce myself to you once I hear about this. Okay, Kim says, I want to live life without feeling like crap. Yes, just to feel good again, right? I mean, it doesn't seem like such a big deal, but when you don't feel good anymore, it becomes everything, right? Yeah, I can really relate to that for sure. Definitely. So ladies, I'm Andrea O'Callahan. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist, and I'm also the founder of the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula. So I've got over 25 years of experience in healthcare. I have a background in naturopathic medicine. As I said, I'm a holistic nutritionist, but I kind of specialized in women's digestive health. I have a practice here in the town where I live in a wellness center. It's actually a wellness center that's sort of in the family. My uncle runs it, and my aunt works there, and my cousin works there, and it's sort of like a family practice. So it's amazing to be involved in that. And that's here in Newfoundland. I'm in the city of St. John's in Newfoundland in Canada. So basically, in a nutshell, what I do is I support women who suffer from all types of digestive difficulties. I mentioned I have three kids. So currently they are 14, 15, and 17. And I'm a divorced mom. My ex-husband and I split up about 5 years ago, and happily today we are amicable and co-parenting quite well, if I do say so myself. Didn't always look like that. Didn't start out that way, but we got there eventually. So I'm super grateful for that. And I will tell you that, I'm not perfect. I still struggle with bloating and some digestive symptoms from time to time, right? But the difference is that today I've got the tools to be able to get back to where I want to be and get back into the little black dress or whatever it is, right? But, today I know how to do that and bring myself back into balance if I come out of that, right? Um, what have we got here? Libby is saying, I want to fit in my clothes again and definitely feel better. Tired a lot. Oh, yeah, for sure. Right? You want to feel good, but having the energy to be able to enjoy your life and to be able to like show up and experience your life, right? Definitely, definitely. And energy levels are hugely tied into our digestive function, how our body absorbs and makes use of our nutrients, right? So, most definitely. Sheila says, Aida's home as well. I would love to have more energy. Yes, for sure. Most definitely. Yeah. If I sway away from my routine, I get bad stomach pains for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And so it's kind of nice when you can improve your gut health and you can, strengthen your immune system so that you can handle getting off of routine, right? You can handle having the treats. You can handle like having the cheats, right? Without it completely derailing your health. And that's kind of the place that we want to get to for sure. Amazing. Thank you so much, ladies, for all of those answers. Okay, the least favorite part of the training for me. This picture, I love it. Not. That was me 13 years ago. My digestive symptoms were around for literally as long as I can remember, like definitely when I was even before a teenager, I can remember waiting for friends to pick me up, getting excited to go to the mall, but then needing to race upstairs to have diarrhea because I was excited, right? My emotions would tip my gut health off in one direction. You know what I mean? I had those issues with my bowels from childhood onward, right? But anyway, back to this picture. 13 years ago, my skin was a mess, breaking out all over the place, bloated, gassy, chronically constipated, like chronically. It was awful, always uncomfortable. By the end of the day, I was so bloated that I could never zip up my pants. So I ended up living in yoga pants because they were the only thing that I could really feel comfortable in. So pants with zippers were off the menu for me at that point. Um, but what you don't see in this picture is the self-hate that I was going through, right? I had so much shame. I had gone to naturopathic medical school. I came from a family of healthcare professionals. Why couldn't I look after myself? Why couldn't I fix my own body? Why was I so sick? It was a lot of shame for me, and I really thought there was something wrong with me. And at this point, literally, I thought that I had reached my bottom. But I had not reached my bottom. The bottom actually came when I ended up getting a cancer diagnosis. I got a thyroid cancer diagnosis when I was about 33. And, I hadn't been feeling well for so long, but that was a complete shock. I was absolutely devastated. And at this point as well, I had three babies, you know. I was terrified for myself. I was terrified for my kids. And this ended up being that real wake up call that I needed to turn my life around. I just woke up, and realized I'm not doing this on my own. I'm not getting anywhere. And now things are pretty life and death, right? So I finally got to that place where I could admit that I needed help. So help is what I got. Along with surgery to remove the cancer, I sought the help of a holistic healer and I began my road to recovery and wellness. It was a long road, lots of stops along the way, but I will say to you that here I am, today. I am over 12 years cancer free. I have never felt better than I do today in my life that I can remember. Even when I was a kid, I remember being sick in my stomach. So my gut issues are essentially a thing of the past. But I will say that it wasn't easy. This journey did take a long time. It took years. I had to really unlearn a lot of the things that I thought were the right things to do because I quickly saw that they weren't working for me and they weren't helping me, right? I had a lot of trial and error, a lot of trying things that didn't work until I found the things that did. And I saw lots and lots and lots of different practitioners along the way that helped me along my path and helped me learn the things that I had to learn, right? But there was no clear path There was no set direction. It was just me hearing about things and trying things and, oh, that doesn't work, and trying something else. It was difficult, frustrating. There was a lot of back and forth, right? It was no clear journey by any means. But despite of all the struggle, it did pay off. Today, I can honestly tell you that I have my freedom. I have freedom from the gas and the bloating, the irregular bowels, the indigestion, the heartburn, like all those symptoms. I have freedom from the mental symptoms that I struggled with, like the brain fog and the fatigue. Even anxiety and depression took a big role in my life before I got well. I have freedom from those yoga pants. Let me tell you, that's one good one. That's one that I really, really am glad about. Freedom from all the restrictive diets, from skipping meals, freedom from depending on, over-the-counter meds just to handle those symptoms. So this is a picture from a trip that I went on last fall. And ladies, I will tell you, I am 48 years old, okay? At the age of 33, I thought I was never going to be able to wear a bikini again because I was too disgusting when I looked in the mirror. I couldn't even make peace with that, right? But today, I have got the freedom to wear a bikini on the beach with a bit of confidence, to wear what I want to wear without worrying how I'm going to feel in it. That's the most important thing. I feel good in my body today. But most importantly, I feel good in my mind and in my spirit. There's no more self-loathing and shame anymore. I can pick up the phone, sorry, when friends call and go out for a meal with them. I really have my freedom back, and it's a beautiful thing. So this whole journey that I've spent my time here now telling you about, this kind of path that I was on, this is what really motivated me to help other women make radical changes in their health before they get to the place where they're getting these big diagnoses, right? Before they get to the place where they end up with a lot bigger problems than just a bit of gas and bloating and IBS symptoms, right? Gaining back control over my body took a lot of time, and it took a lot of patience and determination. But when I finally did, I returned to school to go back and study holistic nutrition because this was the modality that really kind of opened my eyes to a different way of doing things. And I, trained in women's digestive health. And this really gave me the vehicle to be able to help other women like I had. So I'm very grateful for that. So what I discovered, through all of that trial and error that we just talked about, it wasn't that I was weak and had no willpower. It wasn't that I wasn't tough enough to say no to junk food. I wasn't lazy or stupid. I just didn't understand what the real problem in my gut was that started the ball rolling into my poor health, right? And I had no idea what to do about it if I didn't know what the problem was, right? So let's jump in and let's talk about what's going on in our gut to bring us to a place where it's not working properly anymore. All right. But before I dive into the three secrets that you really need to understand to be able to get results, I'm going to share a short case study with you because it's so important for you to see examples of what real success looks like. That way you can ground yourself in knowing that this might be possible for you too. So this is Vanessa. She's a client who stands out to me. She came to see me with gas and bloating, extra weight that she couldn't keep off. She had a constant battle, though, with the big sugar cravings. So this is what I was talking to you about when I said we're going to be talking about sugar cravings. This is something that's going to come in and out of this presentation today. So listen up. Vanessa was a mom. She had a demanding career and a busy lifestyle, but it was all being really heavily impacted by her gut issues. She was losing her confidence at work. She was really self-conscious when she had to get up in front of her colleagues. She didn't feel comfortable in her skin. She didn't feel comfortable in her body. She didn't feel comfortable in her clothes, right? So she would go into work with these big, baggy, shapeless outfits on, and she would just feel terrible about herself. Brain fog, anxiety, getting more and more unbearable for her as time went on. And she was popping that old gas X, hoping that it was going to bring down the bloating just so she could feel a little bit more comfortable in her body. She was also trying all the diets to get rid of the extra weight. She did Weight Watchers, paleo, keto, a couple more. I don't even remember. She did tons of them anyway. She was skipping meals when she was at work because, if she had to go out anywhere nice or do a presentation, she didn't want the eating to, tip off any reactions in the body, any gas or bloating or irregular bowels, right? So she would skip meals while she was in public, which is not cool, right? As we know. And she was struggling every single day with a losing battle against sugar. That was her big Achilles heel, right? She told me, that she thought about sweets every day, all day. And when she inevitably gave in to those cravings that never let up, then she started to suffer from guilt and shame on top of all the physical symptoms because she felt like, why can't I stay away from this stuff, right? So, nothing she tried helped. And we all know she's not going to drop the weight if you can't stay away from the sugar, correct? So we worked together. We talked about the gut microbiome. We talked about the functioning of the gut, how it works, and she began to learn, right? So once she could understand that her gut microbiome had an imbalance and that these bad bugs or pathogenic microbes had sort of taken over the good ones, then she saw that diets were not going to make a difference, right? And she finally got to get herself off of the dieting merry-go-round. She learned about how to rebalance her microbiome so that those cravings would not take over anymore. Then she was able to get a handle on the sugar consumption. Then the gas and bloating began to subside. The weight began to fall off. Her mental clarity returned. And she finally got, to get back into the driver's seat of her life, really, right? Her confidence came back, all of the things started to come back that she had wanted. So let me know in the comments if this is something that sounds interesting to you, right? If this is something you'd like to learn more about how to get to that place. And then we can get into the real gold of the training, right? So what I like to say the real gold of the training are these are the three sort of secrets that kind of teach you how to get the change that you're looking for, right? To get those results that you want, just to get rid of the symptoms and get back to living your life. So these are the three secrets, ladies. Number one, it is the real reason why what you've been doing is not working. Then the second secret is the truth about the misconceptions that you've got about your symptoms. And number three, what you really need to do to take back control over your body. Okay, so let's get started. So this is the first secret, the real reason why the things you have been doing are probably not working. Now, this is where I really would love to hear back from you ladies, right? If I say something that resonates with you, or if I'm talking about something that you've done, pop it in the chat, right? The more feedback I can get, then the more points I know to focus on here with our group, because every group of us going through this training can be different. And maybe today we've got all IBS people, or maybe we've got all autoimmune people, or if there's something going on for you, pop it in the chat, and that will help me kind of connect the dots here for everyone. Okay, so the real reason, this is a big one. Up until today, you probably have looked at your problems like this, okay, so I've got gas and bloating. That's my problem. Or I've got really bad heartburn and indigestion, that's what I have to get rid of. Or maybe it's I've got extra weight on and I just want to drop these pounds, right? And so on and so on and so on. But what I want you guys to see is that all of these things are only symptoms, right? What are symptoms? Symptoms are the way the body is expressing a problem, but they're not the problem. That's the way the body is expressing it. But it's not the same thing as the cause of the problem, right? So if you keep on patching up the symptoms and trying to address and get rid of your symptoms, they're just going to keep reappearing because you're not doing anything about the cause of the symptom, right? It's sort of like patching a tire that you've, got a hole in because you drove over some broken glass, right? But if you keep driving over the broken glass, you're going to keep getting holes in the tire, right? If you don't understand the cause for your symptom, then you can't get rid of it, right? Because the only way to get rid of that symptom is to get rid of the cause. So that's what we're going to talk about now. If you don't address these root causes of your gut symptoms, then you're going to continue to get your symptoms, right? That's what we're getting down to here today, root cause and what that is. When you understand your own personal root cause, then you have got the root to the freedom that you want. So let's learn about the different root causes of our symptoms, right? The best way for me to do this is to show you some common examples of the ways we're trying to symptom patch and why they don't work. Okay, let's go. Okay, so the first one, over-the-counter meds. Things like Tums and antacids. Let's start there. When we use Tums or antacids, they serve to reduce the acid that contributes to heartburn. And they do this for the short term, right? They do work after we use them. But what you need to know is that stomach acid, it's so majorly important, right? We need stomach acid to digest our food. But secondly, we use our stomach acid as a trigger, as a signal point, right? When we have enough acid in the stomach, it sends a signal to the brain to close the top of the stomach fully, right? So the stomach won't stay open and the acid will not come up into the esophagus, right? So, basically, when we take the Tums, it lowers the acid so that we don't get the burning in the esophagus. But when the Tums wear off, the heartburn comes back because the stomach is open and the acid can creep back up, right? But aside from this, experience of having acid reflux, your food isn't fully digested because you have dropped down your acid levels that you need to digest it. So what happens when our food isn't properly digested in the stomach? It doesn't just jump out of us and say, "Oh, well, I'm not digested. I can't continue the journey." Nope, it continues the journey no matter what, digested or not. So you've got this undigested food moving down from the stomach into your intestines. Then what happens if it's not digested? It starts to rot. Yep, pretty gross. Rotting food down in your intestines. What does that mean for us? That means gas, bloating, all of that discomfort we can feel down there, irregular bowel habits. Some people tip into constipation, some people tip into diarrhea. Some of us get a mix of both, right? That was what my story was. And then we go to the doctor and he says, "You've got IBS." Oh, okay. So IBS is really just this collection of symptoms, right? But we need to figure out what the root cause is for that. So when we have got heartburn, we need to see that we have to address how the stomach is working, right? Why the top of the stomach isn't closing and allowing that acid to go up. There's multiple different reasons for this, but keeping it general and simple, digestive dysfunction, something wrong with the digestive system, is allowing this symptom to be expressed as the acid is coming up into the esophagus, right? So here we know that the root cause would be digestive dysfunction. There's something wrong with how the stomach is working. The acid that is supposed to be down there is coming up where it's not supposed to be. It's pretty simple, digestive dysfunction. So I also need to bring in the second major factor in this equation. This is a really good place to do it. Definitely, the microbiome is a big piece of the puzzle when it comes to our gut health, right? You've probably all heard of it. But the microbiome, let me know in the chat, by the way, guys, if you have heard of the microbiome, because I don't want to go too deep into the microbiome if people have heard of it, but I will cover it. And also, Jenna is saying, "I have a huge sweet tooth, sugar cravings, but I do eat good foods as well." Yes, yeah, for sure. It's good to eat the good foods, definitely. Stomach is bloated, appearing pregnant, presses on the bladder. Oh my gosh, yes, that's the worst. Emotional, I am extremely fatigued because of long COVID. Oh, girl, yes. So wanting control back of your life and your days, 100%. That's really what all of our motivation is when we have health issues, right? We just want to get back to living our life, just to be normal, right? For sure. Okay, so let's get back to the microbiome. Microbiome in a nutshell, it's like literally trillions and trillions of microorganisms that live inside of us, right? They live in our digestive tract, specifically what we're talking about here today, and they lay the foundation for your whole body's health. When you have an imbalance in the gut microbiome, it can lead to huge health disturbances, things like weight gain, poor immune function, indigestion, depression and anxiety, skin issues. Like there's so many different symptoms we can tie into the balance in the microbiome. So when we have a microbiome that is out of balance, we call this dysbiosis. So to jump back into this example here with the antacids, when you take antacids, it weakens the digestion, and this contributes to further dysbiosis in the microbiome, right? So the very thing that you're taking to help your symptoms is actually making them worse in the long run, right? Um, Gas X is another really common over the counter. It just helps you pass the gas that you've got in your belly, right? But getting rid of the gas that you've got doesn't mean that your body's not going to make more and that it's not going to come back. It's just more symptom patching. The same thing for, Imodium for diarrhea or laxatives for constipation. They work by symptom patching. They're trying to stop what the body is doing, but they're not trying to fix the cause of the problem, right? So that's our first example, ladies. Really, all of these medications, these over-the-counter medicines, they only work by covering up your symptoms. They're not addressing the root cause, right? So your symptoms keep coming back. And we are going to talk today about root causes in terms of the functioning of the stomach as well as the functioning of the microbiome. These are the two big pieces of gut function, digestive function and microbiome health. So when we have got problems in any of these areas, we have digestive dysfunction and dysbiosis. So these are the two big root causes of any problems that stem in the gut. And when our symptoms keep coming back because we're just patching them, we are actually contributing to the problem further and further. Because every time we try to patch a symptom, we're kind of tapping down the body's own vitality. We're kind of trying to tap down the body's own response to these root causes, and it weakens us more and more over time, right? So let me know in the chat if any of you guys are taking any over-the-counter meds, like anything to kind of help with your symptoms, right? All right. Libby says, educated on the microbiome, learning to make my own probiotic yogurt. Oh, fantastic. Good for you. That's amazing. Yeah, learning how to experiment with foods and fermented foods, it's a fabulous endeavor. So good for you. That's fantastic. Great. All right. So let me know in the chat, ladies, if anybody is trying anything there or any over-the-counter meds. Monique, happy dance. No over-the-counter meds for you. Well, that's good to hear because that means I've done my job. And you've done your job too, Monique. So that's fabulous. I love it. All right. Another thing that we're doing that's not working, and another way that we're trying to patch our symptoms, is, randomly buying the old supplements, right? There are so many pills and supplements out there that claim to be miracle workers for gut health. And if you're out there looking for like this perfect product, then you're doing the research, right? So navigating through health claims and through, testimonials about different products and different types of scientific evidence, all that stuff, it can be so confusing and it can be so overwhelming. For every study you find that says something is good, you're going to find another study that says it's bad, right? It's not easy. So without knowing specifically, what deficiencies you as an individual may have and what your personal system needs, using supplements like this is a shotgun approach and a waste of money. We are all unique. We are all individual. What works for one person may not work for another. The reason for one person's symptom may be a different reason for the same symptom in another person. So there's not going to be one product that can do the same thing for everybody. That's just not how the human body works, right? So probiotics is a really good example like that, right? When probiotics first came out and I was pretty sick, I mean, this was, gosh, definitely before kids. So yeah, like 20 years ago, I remember hearing about probiotics coming out and I was like, oh my God, there it is. There's the answer to my problem. This is definitely going to fix my tummy. I need these probiotics. I have a probiotic deficiency, I never took one before, so that must be it. So, I went out, got the probiotics, and started taking them. I was hoping for a miracle, but all the while, I was drinking city tap water, right? I had no idea that the chlorine in the tap water that is there to keep us safe, right? To clean the water, kill any bugs in the water so we don't get sick. I didn't know that drinking that water was going to chlorinate me and kill all of my bugs. You know what I mean? All the good bugs in my microbiome. So, I had no idea I was doing something that was hurting my health by drinking tap water. Like, no clue. I was also eating total crap, I wasn't sleeping enough, I wasn't managing my stress. Like, there was lots of things going on. So, like, for me to think that a pill was going to be my magic solution, no way, not going to happen. And I was devastated when I realized this wasn't helping me because I'd just come up against something else that wasn't working, right? But now, today, I can understand that I have got to look after my microbiome. I can't be pouring chlorinated tap water on it. I can't be sacrificing sleep and expect to have a healthy microbiome, right? There's a lot of these different pieces of the puzzle that we have to kind of educate ourselves about so that we can understand, first of all, how to keep balance in our microbiome, but second of all, how to use a tool like a probiotic properly, when to use it, how to use it, what things make it not work, what things support it, right? These are all these kind of things that we've got to figure out. Okay, let's move on. Another strategy that we use to control our symptoms: staying away from problem foods, right? A lot of us get bloating in response to a specific food or foods. A lot of times it can be wheat or dairy. Sometimes we get responses to veggies. Like, I know somebody who can't eat broccoli or they're going to spend the rest of the night in the bathroom, right? Cabbage, onions, beans and legumes. Then the treats like pizza, ice cream, sugar, whatever, right? The list goes on. But we, oftentimes avoid specific foods because they trigger our symptoms. Let me know in the chat if there's any foods that you cannot eat or you're gonna, feel it in a bad way. Um, all right, so I remember for me it was bread. Bread was like insta balloon belly, right? So if I had bread, when I was at a restaurant with friends, I literally would be guys, I'm so sorry. I have to pause for just 1 minute. Oh no. No, I don't. Never mind. He stopped calling. That was my son. I just thought it might have been an emergency, but he texted me a thumbs up, so we're good. He remembered I'm in the middle of a webinar. Apologies for that. I usually don't let any of the outside world come in when I'm doing a webinar, but if it's a kid, I mean, any of you guys who are moms out there, you get it. Anyways, so I remember never being able to have the bread when I was in restaurants, or I would eat and I'd blow up, and then I would just kind of pull myself into the table and stick my little belly, my big blown up belly, I should say, under the table so that nobody else could see it. Kim says popcorn is bad on my belly. Interesting. I think that may be the first time I've heard that one. That's really interesting. But that's really good to hear because it can be any type of food, right? It doesn't have to be just ice cream. It can be broccoli. It can be anything. Any food can give us a specific reaction depending on whatever's going on in our own bodies, right? So, no matter what the food is that we stay away from, we stay away from it because we believe that changing what we eat is going to stop the cause of our symptom, right? So, this is assuming that food is the cause of your symptom. But I have news for all of you ladies: it is not the food's fault. You heard me. Unlike popular opinion, food is not really the culprit behind our tummy troubles. Yes, some foods do create symptoms, but the question is why, right? Is it because we're not digesting them properly, right? Or maybe we don't have the right strains of microbes in our microbiome to break down that specific food, because we know specific strains or types of bugs in our microbiome can support the digestion of specific foods, right? Um, Basically, what this means is it's either or, a combination of both, of digestive function and microbiome health, right? So to sum it up, digestive dysfunction or dysbiosis or a combination of both are usually behind the reasons why foods are giving us a symptom. It is not the food's fault, it's how our bodies are trying to break them down, right? So another quick case just to illustrate that point. This is Nicole. Before Nicole came in and joined my program, she was a big gas and bloating suffering. Like, that was her real symptom was gas and bloating, but it was tied to specific foods, right? Many nights her friends would, go out and get social at a dinner party or a restaurant. And she really got to the point where she couldn't go out and eat publicly anymore because it was such a gamble that, always resulted in her blowing up and just feeling awful. She would feel humiliated. She'd wonder, why can't I just go out and eat like everybody else, right? So after she came to see me and, we got her educated on the workings of the digestive system and how to, rebalance the gut microbiome. She learned how to bring her body back into balance so that it worked the way it was actually supposed to, right? And today she's got the freedom to eat out without any of that stress. She's regained control over her body, gotten rid of all of the pain and the bloating and all those symptoms that really limited her life. But the bottom line is, I didn't say you got to stay away from the bread for the rest of your life. We worked on fixing her digestion and rebalancing the microbiome so her body could handle the foods again, right? And that really, in a nutshell, is the journey, right? So another example of how we have tried to symptom patch is going on different diets, right? Oh, actually, I want to pop back to the chat here about the popcorn discussion. Monique says, is it the popcorn or what you put on it? And Kimberly says, I pop it myself on the stove with olive oil and still hurts my belly. Right. So, there's something about the corn kernel. There may be a specific change in the corn when you pop it into the popcorn, something there the body doesn't like, you know what I mean? But it's an example of how, even a healthy food, because popcorn is healthy, right? If you're popping your own kernels and you're putting olive oil on it, it's not the movie popcorn that's deep, not deep fried, but, popped in that unhealthy oil and all that stuff with all the chemical toppings, right? Not that at all, for sure. So there's something going on in your gut where your digestive system is sensitive to corn. That would be my guess, right? For sure. Definitely. Yeah, non-GMO kernels could be a great thing to try 100%. Yep, using organic popcorn, try that and see how it is for sure. And that will help you know that if there is something in the corn organism itself that's hurting you or if it's just corn in general, right? That can work. Sometimes that helps, but usually by the time we get to the place where there's a food triggering symptoms, discomfort, pain, anything like that, usually it's tipping past the point where just going to an organic version is going to help. There's something in there the body's reacting to that needs to be fixed before she could start to try to, use organic or non-GMO foods. Definitely, right? Not to say that you can't get there. You definitely can get there, but I wouldn't think that you'd be able to try that right off the bat. Give it a shot. See if it works. It's the best way, right? Best way to see. All right, so let's look at diets. Diets are oftentimes what we think will be those magic bullets that we're looking for, right? We've got, lots of them. Paleo, Atkins, macrobiotics, South Beach, the Zone. Then there's the points diets, right? Weight Watchers, Noom. There's a million of them. I've tried most of them, let me tell you. So not only do these diets not work, but they can also cause lots of significant harm. You can harm the body, you can have metabolic harm, physiological harm, but there's also the possibility of psychological harm too when we become really focused on limits and, hyper vigilant about our foods. In all of these diets, you can be eating lots of things that harm the gut and harm the microbiome and make your symptoms worse, right? So they can't be good. But the biggest problem with diets like this is oftentimes they do provide a short-term weight loss. So we think they're working, right? We think, oh, good, this is what I want, but only short term. It never lasts. The only way you can maintain weight loss is when you fix the gut, when you optimize the functioning of the gut and you have a healthy microbiome, right? So let me know in the chat if any of these diets y'all have tried and what you've thought about it. But I want to say, we need to remember that when we use changing what we eat as the tool to fix our gut issues, it's because we think that the food is causing the problem, right? Like we think, okay, the food's the problem, so I take it away, problem's gone. But it never really works, right? We're learning now today that it is not the food's fault. The root cause of symptoms in response to food is poor gut function with an underlying dysbiosis. We have to fix the functioning of the gut in order to get the results that we want. Because if the body can't break down the food, it's not the food's fault. There's something going on in the body, right? I hope that that kind of makes sense for you guys. And let me know in the chat if anything I say is confusing or you need more information or you want me to expand on anything, okay? But other than that, we will move right along. Um, Another common example of how we're trying to patch our symptoms of poor gut health is, not eating at certain times or skipping meals entirely, regardless of whether or not we're hungry, right? I mean, who here has maybe skipped dinner so they can squeeze into something a little slinkier for a night out, nice romantic night out, maybe? Or, squeeze themselves into some outfit to get up in front of your work colleagues and give a presentation, the whole while feeling uncomfortable and, embarrassed and the worst. It's the worst. I really relate to that one. Skipping meals or not eating at all, it's not a healthy or safe way to manage your symptoms, right? I mean, we intuitively all sort of know this, right? If you miss a meal or kind of ignore a hunger signal, you're hurting your body because you're depriving it of its fuel and its resources to function the way it's supposed to, right? And skipping meals causes the body to go into starvation mode, right? Which just means that your metabolism drops. It means you're burning less energy. You're burning less calories. You're actually holding on to whatever weight you've got because the body is scared to death it's not going to get fed again, right? This also leaves you sluggish and tired. It makes you feel weak and shaky because your blood sugar balance is affected as well. And I'll let you know that blood sugar imbalances are one of the biggest contributing factors to a gut dysbiosis, right? When we get blood sugar spikes and crashes, the bad bugs in the microbiome love blood sugar imbalances. They thrive in this kind of environment, right? So we have to learn a way to eat to keep our blood sugar stable so that we can minimize another risk of dysbiosis, right? So skipping meals to avoid your symptoms, it's doing nothing to fix the problem. So your symptoms are just going to come back, anyway. It's just really another Band-Aid solution, right? Okay, so this is the last reason why, the things that you're trying are maybe not working, right? Um, Overall, it's because you're probably not addressing each of the things that are impacting you, right? And I know this can seem a little daunting, but when you're trying to figure it out all on your own, yeah, it's daunting because how are you supposed to figure this stuff out anyway, right? Um, we have a bunch of different things that impact our bodies and impact how they work, right? Same thing with your gut. There are a finite number of things that are going to impact how your stomach works. So if you are not addressing each of the things that are contributing to your symptoms, then even missing one can make all your other efforts at fixing your gut absolutely useless. It's tricky stuff, right? I mean, we look back at me with the probiotics, right? Say I had taken the probiotics and everything was good. I was sleeping well, I was eating well, I was managing my stress, I was doing like all the things, but I was still drinking tap water. So that chlorine would be throwing my digestive function off and making everything else seem like it wasn't working, right? So it's like we need to learn about what the gut needs. We need to be able to have the big picture of all the things that go into a well-functioning body and be able to have them all addressed, right? I mean, there are so many different things that can impact. Our nervous system function is one of these, actually. All of our stress, emotional issues, and other lifestyle factors can impact our nervous systems. But if our nervous systems aren't working properly, then this is directly going to impair our digestive function as well, right? We are like a whole body. We've got all these moving parts and they're all interacting together. So we really need to know how to find that balance in our bodies to let ourselves show up with a healthy gut, really. And high achieving women like us, women who've been doing it all for years, taking care of everybody around us for as long as we can remember. I hate to break it to you, but we've got nervous systems that are absolutely jacked. You know what I mean? We are in the stress response more than we are out of it. And when we are in the stress response, it's the direct opposite of the state that we need to be in to have a healthy digestive system, right? We've got a sympathetic nervous system and we've got a parasympathetic nervous system. The stress response is over here in the sympathetic, but digestion's over here in parasympathetic. So if you're in the stress response, your digestive system is just not getting the energy flowing towards it that it needs to work properly. So we need to figure out how to support our nervous systems and bring our body back into balance, right? So trying to fix our gut, really, ladies, like it's impossible if we're not in a full understanding of what it is that our body needs to be in balance, right? And so that's our responsibility to figure out, I don't really know what my body needs. I need to go out and learn it. I need to go figure it out, right? So that's what my job is. It's to kind of open the eyes up to see that it's our responsibility to learn, right? What we have to do. Okay, so quick recap of secret one. We've seen with all of the different things that we've been doing that are not working, that we're patching our symptoms, right? Our digestive issues cannot be fixed unless we figure out what is our own root cause. And we learned that the root cause are those underlying kind of set of conditions that are sort of creating all of our symptoms, right? So today, in the first secret, we have learned that our root cause for gut issues is poor gut function and dysbiosis, right? Those are the two pieces of the puzzle in the gut that are at play when we are manifesting symptoms there. So, to get rid of those symptoms once and for all, we got to stop trying to cover them up. We've got to get down to the business of figuring out the root cause and fixing our digestion and rebalancing the microbiome, right? So at this point in the training, I often get the question, okay, so you're telling us about root cause, but like, how did it happen? How did I get gut dysfunction or dysbiosis? Like, how did this come to be, right? So there are so many things. I tell women today, don't beat yourself up. We're not living in a world that is designed to support health, unfortunately. Unfortunately, the almighty dollar has become king and health is secondary unless it can be profited by, right? So quick foods, all the chemicals, all the things in the world, these are all kind of insults to our bodies, right? So we can't beat ourselves up. We're just trying to survive in the world we're in, but it is up to us to learn about how to live in this world safely and keep ourselves well in the middle of all of this, right? Lots of different things can affect the gut. We've got poor eating habits being number one, right? Not chewing your food enough, drinking with your meals, eating too much, eating too fast, bad food choices, of course, right? Poor water quality. We talked about that one. Problems with digestive secretions, with how things are actually moving through the gut. Inflammation within the digestive system caused by lots of different things. Then we've got nutrient deficiencies and then medications, lack of sleep, too much stress, emotional issues. Like I could go on and on forever, right? Root cause of gut dysfunction can be created by many different factors. And that's where you come in personally, right? Each of us has our own story, and each of us will have our own individual causative factors for these root causes, right? But do not get overwhelmed with thinking, what are all my puzzle pieces? What are all my, causative factors? Once you learn about what the gut and the microbiome need to stay healthy, it becomes very clear, right? Then you can begin to address the root cause of your problems, right? Then you can begin to fix them once and for all and learn how to live in the world we're in without it taking you away from your health. Okay, ladies, let's move into the second secret. Unless anyone has any questions about root cause, let me know. I just want to make sure we don't go too over time today because I know we all have busy lives. So here is the second secret. What you're thinking is keeping you sick. This is my favorite of the secrets, I have to say, because this really, really made a big difference for me. A lot of us have incorrect beliefs. We have misconceptions about what's happening inside of us, and we also have a tendency to lie to ourselves just a little bit. That's a very human quality, and it's normal, right? A lot of it comes with, how we were brought up, things we've been taught to think about our bodies and our health. And a lot of these misconceptions are holding us back and keeping us sick. So this part of the training, is where we look at how we break down our thoughts, thoughts that I had as well. So there's no judgment here, people. But we're going to break down our thoughts and sort of reframe them so that you can understand how to get out of the problem and into the solution. Okay, so misconception one. I have to give up the foods I love. That's it. I can't eat what I like. I'm going to have to be this health freak. I'm going to have to eat only salads. I got to be a vegan. I'm just going to have to live on all these crazy weird health foods. And I don't know how, but I'm going to have to do that, right? Anybody out there think this way? Right? A lot of us don't even consider a lifestyle change because we don't want to do that. We don't want to have to give up everything we love. We don't want to give up all the yummy foods and the good things, right? We can picture ourselves like trying to eat this crazy complicated diet, this crazy complicated health food diet, right? That, we've never even really heard of half these foods. We don't know how to say half these foods. We certainly don't know how to cook half these foods. And we feel like we're just going to be, deprived, right? We're going to be deprived. We're going to have to eat rabbit food and give up the good stuff, right? We want to have our bread and our pasta and our cheese, and we want to be able to go out for ice cream and have a piece of cake, all the things. Who wants to choose deprivation, right? Nobody really. And then how are we supposed to rely on our willpower to stick to that? It just seems like it's going to be a lot. It's going to be, a big, hard thing to begin. So we just don't, right? We don't begin. We stay stuck in the problem because we have this misconception of what we have to do to get well. So if a food makes your symptom worse, right? Like the treat or the bread or the dairy or whatever it is, if the food makes your symptom worse, then of course, logically, we're going to say, well, I got to stop that to get rid of the symptom, right? This is the way our brains work. Don't blame yourself for thinking that. Like it's logical, makes a lot of sense. But let's go back to the first secret, what we just learned. It's not the food's fault. The food doesn't create the symptom. There's something going on with your stomach or your digestive system that is not working the right way so that the food, creates that symptom. It's not because of the food, but it's because of the problem, whatever that is in the gut, right? Excuse me. So I'm going to show you how to address those root cause of your problems, right? Gut dysfunction and dysbiosis, as we talked about, so that you're able to tolerate the food again, even the food that maybe gives you the symptom now, right? No complicated health foods diet, I promise. Does that sound good to you, ladies? Right? Not having to give up all the foods, like that cannot be the solution because that is just another form of symptom patching. All right. Next misconception we often have, the only way I'm going to get rid of this symptom or manage it is to be on this prescription that my doctor gave me, right? Excuse me. This is a message that we have all gotten repeatedly. You have a health problem? Well, you got to go get the pill for it, right? We go to the doctor with a complaint. He writes us a prescription. We turn on the TV. The answer to the health problem is given to us on a drug ad. We have been told that the covering up of the symptom is the answer to the symptom, and we have been told it our whole lives. So accepting this idea is not something you've probably questioned before. It's understandable. Hang on, ladies, I've got a tickle in my throat and I just need to have a little coffee. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. All right, so that is definitely understandable. Makes a lot of sense, right? We've seen all of these drug ads on TV all the time. We've gotten this message repeatedly, right? So if you have thought up until now that the only way to get rid of your symptoms is to take a prescription, then you can really let go of that misconception right now. If you apply the method that I have and you fix the true cause of your symptoms, then there's no more need to take a medication to cover it up anymore, right? I hope that that kind of makes sense for you. Oh, Sheila says, will there be a replay? I have to go. Yes, Sheila, no problem. I'm going to make a note here that you were here in person, so I will make sure that you get a copy of the gift. But if for some reason something happens and you don't get it, reach out to me and let me know because, you came, you deserve to get the gift, no problem. And you'll definitely be sent the replay. If you've registered for today, you're automatically going to get the replay. So thank you so much for letting me know and thank you for being here. All right, perfect. Excellent. Now, as we go back, if you have thought up until now that the only way for you to get rid of your symptoms is to take a prescription, then, you just got to let go of that. You have to let go of that, like feeling that this is your only solution. If you apply my method and you fix the real cause, then there's no need to take a prescription anymore, right? And one of the common things inside the program that I've seen is that women are able to come off of their meds, right? So it's definitely something that's real and true, and it's happened in front of my eyes many, many times. So believe it, believe it. Ah, there you go. Monique is there. She's living proof, right? Yep. Fabulous. Monique, it's really nice to have you here. Have I said that yet? I miss hanging out with you, so it's good. Good stuff. All right, here is another misconception. I am too busy to spend 12 weeks on my health. Forget about it, right? Why 12 weeks? Well, this is the length of time of my health program that I will be telling you about. But 12 weeks, right? I mean, it's a big chunk of time, 3 months. Um, Seems like a lot of time to be putting into something. Big time. I get it. We're busy women, right? We have families we're responsible to, maybe. We maybe have jobs or careers that we're responsible to. I don't care who you are. We all got bills to pay, right? Homes, people, pets to look after, plants, like whatever it is. We've got stuff in our lives that are pulling us in all these different directions, right? Then we're supposed to try to get our sleep. We're supposed to try to eat well. We're supposed to try to exercise. Aren't you meditating? Like, okay, we have a lot of stuff on the go that we are supposed to be devoting ourselves to. So, isn't it true that if we are suffering from poor health, then we are not at our best, right? Our energy isn't optimal, our focus isn't optimal, our concentration and motivation may be like non-existent, right? It definitely was for me back in the day. Um, so is it not true that if we felt better, then all the things might be just a little easier to do, right? This program that I'm discussing today can be done in the comfort of your own home. It can be done at any time that's convenient for you. There's one module a week that has clear-cut instructions. The modules cover the parts of your life that you're doing anyway, though. This is the big distinction here, okay? We cover eating, we cover sleeping, we cover exercise, we cover stress, we cover emotional health, They're just things that are going on for us anyway. So you just apply these principles to the life that you're already living. Plus, I'm here with you every step of the way. I'm walking you through all of the processes. You don't have to think. You don't have to make any choices or decisions. You don't have to go looking for answers anymore. You don't have to be researching. You don't have to be digging and looking and trying and all of the things, right? I give you a plan. I fully support you and walk you through it. So you end up actually having more time. Plus, if you do not address your symptoms, they're just going to get worse, right? Your problems are just going to end up getting bigger. So, the way I like to look at it is, deal with it now when you have a choice and you want to take the upper hand, or do it later when you're just not able to ignore it anymore, because it happens. It's coming. It does happen. Trust me. That is exactly what happened to me when I got the cancer diagnosis. Not saying you're all going to get cancer. Come on now. But if things are not getting better now, they're just going to get worse. That's what my point is, okay? I'm not trying to be doom and gloom here or scary by any means. All right, so misconception four, it's going to be too hard for me to do this right now. I like to travel and I love to be social. If I do this, oh God, my social life's going to be over. I can't go out anymore, or maybe you have a lot of work commitments. Work is busy and it's just not the right time. Okay, so we like to travel. Many of us do. I myself do. We like to go out to eat, right? Want to be able to go to the movies, right? We maybe want to be able to show up fully at work and meet all of our commitments, right? So a whole new regimented scheduling plan, not going to work in a busy life, right? Wrong. This is a common misconception that can also be dropped right now. I can show you how to get the results that you want, even if you travel a lot, even if you're very social, or even if you have a demanding career. Like I just said, this method uses the principles that fit into the life that you already have, right? Otherwise, this wouldn't be something that you can kind of maintain indefinitely, which it is. So once you've addressed your root issues, right, gut dysfunction and dysbiosis, and you've learned how to live in a way that keeps everything ticking along and working properly, then you can continue to travel. You can continue to be social, you can continue to meet your work commitments, but from a place of strength and health. It's not like, sticking to a plan, but it's learning a program for living that really works and that you can take with you into all situations, right? I had a woman, Shelly, who was in my program, and she was like, well, I'm going to start it in 2 months because next month I have to go away to Arizona for a month and I'm going to be on a resort and all inclusive, and I'm just going to enjoy that. And then I'm going to come back and put my head down and do your program because I know I have to. And I thought, whoa, 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 whoa. No, no, no. Start right now. And then in a month, go off to Arizona on your all-inclusive resort and keep working your program there. It's totally fine. It's not going to make a difference. And that's what she did, right? So she went off and she was on a holiday for a month at a resort, and she had no problem sticking to the plan, right? Of following the program principles, because I'm not bullshitting you all. This is something that you are able to bring with you in all situations. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. Otherwise, it couldn't last, right? So, yeah, that's just my little story about that. Okay, so then the next misconception that all of us can have is that, oh, I really should be prioritizing other investments. My health isn't so bad right now, and I got a lot of things coming down the pipes, right? I've got bills to pay, my son's getting married, there's always stuff. My job here today is to tell you that, prioritizing you has got to be important. The reason most of us, I won't say all of us because we're all different, we all have different histories, but many of us get to this point because we've put ourselves last on the list. We've taken care of everybody else around us first, right? My job is to tell you that putting you back on the list, it's important. It's so important. You are so worth it. You are deserving. Just by being alive and taking up space on this planet, you have worth just for being. And also, how are you able to be of service, right, to others, maybe to your work, to your loved ones, to whatever it is, if you don't have your own health and vitality, right? We can't be of service to anybody else if we're just showing up like a shell of a person, or we start to lose our energy, or we start to not be able to show up anymore because we're getting sicker and sicker. If you don't make an investment into your own self, into your own health, then your issues are only going to continue to become less and less reversible. And also, with that comes larger and larger healthcare costs, right? So I kind of like to think of it like this, you're not paying for it right now. You just haven't gotten the bill for it yet. And that's really as clear as I can put it because it comes. So in addition to all these misconceptions and kind of the funny ways we're looking at things, we also lie to ourselves. Another really human characteristic. So this comes with no judgment, okay? These lies that we can tell ourselves can really keep us stuck in the problem. And the first one is, this is normal, right? Who hasn't said that to themselves about something that is obviously a problem? Everybody gets gas and bloating, so like, big deal. Maybe mine's a little worse than hers, but like it's still normal. And this head in the sand mentality, like let me tell you, this was my go-to 100% for quite a long time, but it definitely didn't get me any closer to fixing my problem, right? We have to remember that thinking it's normal to not function normally is just a form of denial. And the healthcare system definitely contributes to this. Like, how many of y'all have gone to the doctor with like PMS symptoms and the doctor says it's normal? Or like you go to the doctor with like fatigue and you're tired and he says, sure, you're 43. What do you want? It's normal. It's not normal. You can live to be 90 years old and feeling great. I've seen it. It is normal. Okay. So thinking it's normal to not function normally is just a form of denial. And we cannot address something that we refuse to acknowledge. So, why should we be settling for feeling unwell? Why should we think that feeling like shit when we're old is just a normal part of aging? Doesn't have to be. Why should we be allowing poor gut health to sabotage our lives right here and right now? Until you kind of see that there's a problem impacting your life, then you are a prisoner to that, right? And that's what we want to get out of here. Another lie. It'll go away soon, I'm sure. Have you ever said that to yourself, hoping that the symptoms were just going to go away one day? You're just going to wake up and they'd be gone, right? I certainly did for a long time. So, my question here to you today, and I'd love to see your answers in the chat, please, is how long have you been struggling with your problems? Um, for me, it was years, literally. Have you been struggling more than 3 months? Maybe more than 6 months? Has it gone away on its own yet? Right? Or has anything maybe gotten worse? If you have been struggling with your gut symptoms for more than 3 months, then it is known as what we call a chronic condition. And chronic conditions cannot go away on their own without intervention to bring us back into balance. 3 month window is usually what we see the body, need to be able to bring itself back into balance. So if you've been struggling with your problem and it hasn't improved in a number of months, then you know you've got a chronic condition that is not going to go away on its own, right? And my, kind of purpose of pointing this out is that, do you need to have a huge health crisis like I did to make you see that things are not just going away without addressing the real cause? While I was waiting for things to disappear, things were continually getting worse inside of me, right? So gut health is so important because it has a huge impact on the rest of the body, right? All of our disease starts in the gut. This was something that was news to me, by the way, when I learned it. A healthy gut is what underlies our immune system, our heart health, our brain health, our mood, our mental clarity and mental functioning, our sleep, in addition to all the digestive stuff, right? It is underneath whole body health. So waiting for symptoms to go away on their own is really us giving away our power over our own bodies, right? And the time is now for you to take back control over your health. So the final lie I want to put out there that keeps us really from looking at the problem honestly is I'm just not feeling well because life is busy and I'm stressed to the max. When things calm down, I'll get back to normal. So I don't know about you, but things never really calm down, right? Life seems to be one thing after another. And yeah, stress is like one of the biggest factors in gut issues. But stress will never go away. I'm so sorry to be the one to break this to you all if you don't already know. But stress, it ain't going nowhere, right? What we need to do is shift our perspective. Instead of trying to get rid of our stress or waiting for it to slow down, we need to learn how to fix our bodies so that they can cope with whatever stress we come across, right? And I don't mean fix our bodies, but train our bodies, support our bodies, teach our bodies how to absorb the stress without it derailing our health, right? Because stress causes literally physical changes in our gut and it causes physical changes in the microbiome, right? That doesn't resolve on its own. Waiting for stress to be gone is impossible because it never will be. We have to train our bodies so that we can be in the middle of stress without it completely destroying us, right? And learning stress management, it's a big part of what we do in the program, right? Because it's a big part of our gut issues, for sure. Okay, one last case study. Because this kind of ties in this whole idea of the misconceptions we tell ourselves, sorry. So this is Alicia. Alicia is a local here in the town that I live, and she was actually an in-person client, and she was a key part of me pulling this program together, actually. But she came to see me for GERD. So in case you're unfamiliar, GERD is gastroesophageal reflux disease, or the medical name for chronic heartburn, right? So this woman, she's incredible, right? Amazing, intelligent powerhouse. She had a top position in a company here in town, and she came to me when she was actually on sick leave from her job because her heartburn had progressed. It wasn't just heartburn anymore. She came to see me with bleeding ulcers. and Barrett's esophagus. And Barrett's esophagus, for those of you who may not be familiar, is a precancerous condition of the esophagus. So, like years and years and years of heartburn and acid reflux started to change the cells lining her esophagus. So she ended up, getting a biopsy from all of these bleeding ulcers, and they found that the cells in her esophagus were beginning to transform. So this is termed Barrett's esophagus. So she was, forced to stop work and get a handle on her health, really. So fast forward, sorry, reverse 4 years before, that's when she got her heartburn, GERD diagnosis. And her doctor put her on a PPI, which is an acid reducing medication. And he said, take this and, manage your stress, fix your diet, good luck, like doctors tend to do. Now, that's a lump sum. I shouldn't say that because not all doctors are like this. I've got a great doctor who's definitely not like this, but I've had enough run-ins with doctors who are like this too that I know it's definitely out there. But like really their job is not to teach us about stress management and healthy living, right? That comes in the form of other types of practitioners. So we got to be real about that point too, but I digress. Let's get back to Alicia. So Alicia came to see me. She learned about digestive function. She learned about the microbiome. She learned about what was going on in her body and why her symptoms were manifesting like this. And then we began to, implement the treatment, and she began to do the things she needed to do to bring her gut health back on track. Sarah says, I have to leave, but would love to have a copy to rewatch. No problem, girl. You are in the middle of doing your protocol right now, if this is the right Sarah. I think it is. So, yes, you take off, and I will definitely send you the replay and stay the course. You got this, girl. We'll talk soon. Um, all right. So, Alicia came to me with, being in that position where she had no choice but to put her career on hold, right? We worked together to implement the protocol for GERD and for the Barrett's esophagus and allow her gut to begin to heal, right? But the point of me sharing this case study with you is that, Alicia got to see how ignoring her problem and just taking the pill and hoping everything else would kind of sort itself out, it really wasn't the best choice that she could have made for her health, right? She had to put her job on hold at that point, right? She had to stop working. And her problems were way worse than just heartburn at the time she finally decided to face them, right? So, luckily, within a few months of learning in the program and then going on to, address the contributing factors to this problem and letting her body heal, you know, she began to see the reversal of these changes that were happening in the digestive system, but they definitely took her a lot longer to fix than if she had started to handle it when she was just getting GERD. Do you know what I mean? But thank goodness today, she's healed. She's reversed these changes in the body, and she's back at her role, at her job that she loves, but she's functioning at this level that is even better than before because she's got her health and vitality back, right? So it can be done. It can be done. All right, ladies, let's get into the final component. Let's wrap this up. The reason that you are here today is because you want to know how. Okay, this is all nice. Tell me about root cause. Amazing. Tell me about the thinking behind it. Amazing. But like how? What do I have to do? All right. You have stayed with me this far. Thank you for that. Now is the time I'm going to show you what you can do that actually works. Okay. The third and final secret, and this was the discovery that kind of I made that changed everything for me and led me down this path. Thank you for sticking with me up until now. Let us roll on. Okay, so at the beginning of the training, you heard my story. You learned about, how I had to figure out root cause, stop patching symptoms, blah, 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 right? I learned that I had an underfunctioning digestive system as well as dysbiosis, okay? Poor digestion, dysbiosis. I think y'all got that, right? Everybody's got this idea of root cause at this point. Let me know in the chat if anyone needs any further clarification on that. If not, I'm just going to keep going. So once I understood all this underlying stuff, right, and understood what was going on for me, just like you, the next thing I needed to figure out was how. How do I get rid of all this and get back to my life? So I discovered a lot of things, right? I discovered that you really need to have a plan, though. I mean, my journey was like all over the place. It was like trial and error, practitioner to practitioner. It took me years, and it was frustrating, and it was also very scary because I was dealing with a big problem, right? But I really found that having sort of a plan that addresses this root cause, so you can stop trying all these different things and wasting your time, that is so important. That way you can just focus on what works, right? Like I said, I learned lots of things, but not everything was helpful to me. Um, so, after I finally began to see what I needed to do, it was years later, right? So after I finally kind of got my health back on track and, went on to go back to school and went on to begin to gain experience with clients, for example, then I began to be able to put everything together, right? I'd be able to start to see what were the real needle movers, what were the real important things to address, and what were things that, not so important. Um, so with time, I began to streamline all this knowledge, right? And I began to streamline the process that I found out started to work for my clients as well. And I put it into this kind of a method, I guess you could call it, that encompasses all of those puzzle pieces that we talked about back in the first secret, right? Um, Having a step-by-step method that covers all the pieces we need to use for our puzzle, um, it provides you with that clear path, right? I decided to call this method the ultimate digestive freedom formula. I know it sounds like a mouthful, but it resonated for me because, once I fixed my digestive system and healed my body, and got rid of all those annoying symptoms. I mean, what I got the most out of the whole thing was my freedom, right? So I had to have freedom in the name of this because that's what really resonated and meant the most to me. I spent years working on my health, like I said, but if I had had this simple plan to follow, things would have been a lot smoother and simpler and quicker for me as well. So, root cause and a step-by-step method, they were definitely the top two things I found that were important in the journey back to health. But there were a couple of others. I also needed to remember to holistically address the person, right? We need to address body, mind, and spirit, or else we're not going to get to our result. We need to look at things like nutrition and sleep and stress and moving the body, but we need to look at spiritual beliefs and we need to look at emotional health. We can't just fix the body if there's something going on with the spirit or with the mind. These two things can also be blocks to healing, right? So they all need to come together into this big picture. Then I also needed to have someone else. Something like this is not something that I could have gone through on my own. I needed to have, a respected professional who had experience, who knew what they were talking about, because I certainly didn't, so that I could go to them with questions or also have support when I needed it. And finally, I needed to have accountability and a sense of community. So this is what I want to show you next. I want to show you this method and how it works and how it can produce the results that you want, right? To take back control over your body and get rid of those symptoms so you can just look and feel your best. Basically, that's it, right? So the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula, it's a 3-month program, like I mentioned. It's laid out in a series of easy to apply, simple steps that sort of naturally build on each other to improve your health and facilitate your understanding of, what caused this problem with me in the first place, right? No more trial and error. No more, taking these bits and pieces from things you've heard on the internet that might work, or maybe worked for your Aunt Sally and you got to try it, right? No more all these little piecemeal approach to apply to your own lifestyle. You just get these clear cut directions tailored to you as an individual. And, they're simple to follow. They are literally step by step. But as you go through the steps, then you begin to start to feel better, right? So your energy and your motivation only increase as you move forward. It's pretty cool. Next, the formula addresses all of those areas that impact your health, right? So this is that individualized holistic view that takes you as a whole person into consideration. You're not just your gut, right? this is where I love to go into, systems medicine, and you have a problem with your gut, so you're sent off to a gastroenterologist, but they don't talk about your sleep or your stress. They don't talk about these other things, right? This has got to be a holistic view. We have to take into consideration you as a whole person. I mean, we know all the different parts of ourselves are connected, right? We know how our thinking can influence how we show up, how we act in our lives. We can see how feelings can show up in our bodies as well. I mean, just think about stomach ulcers and stress. Boom, there's the connection. We know there's a physical aspect to emotional health, right? It also includes things like nutrition, of course, sleep and stress, mindset, emotional health. I mean, all of the elements of how we feel and function. So if we don't address all of the parts that make us a whole person, we will never be able to achieve full healing. That is something I've found to be very true. The program also includes a full coaching element. This is pretty well like the gold star of the whole thing. You get access to me via weekly coaching calls so that you get to ask me questions or get suggestions on the area we're covering or whatever type of support it is that you need. I mean, it doesn't do you any good to be given the instructions and then be left on your own to go through them, right? You have to have access to someone with experience, right? So that you can have support and learn how to figure out the answers to the questions that are inevitably going to come up for you as you kind of learn how to apply it to your own life. Coaching allows you to be able to execute the actions that you really need to be able to take if you want to get results. And we're all individuals. We all have our own unique struggles and unique challenges that we need to make sure are addressed. So that's what I'm here for, right? The weekly calls are put in place so that you can get personal coaching and guidance that you're going to need. Kim also says she has to sign off and catch the ending on the replay. Amazing. Thank you for being here. Good to see you, Kim. Thanks a million. And also the calls are a great place, for us to be able to address mindset struggles. We talked about mindset earlier, but it can really be a big part of the reason why you haven't been able to get results on your own before. So coaching provides you that guidance and support that are really required to get you back on your feet. Then we also have a community group. So the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula has a private community group that you get full access to your time in the program. Money can definitely tell you that this, community is pretty special. The women make these connections and they share experiences with each other. And, you're all kind of on the same journey together, right? We know we're stronger together. And this is really a big element of why the program is so successful. We're stronger together. When you share your journey with another, it allows you to grow and learn together, right? And I will tell you, one of the pitfalls of suffering from digestive symptoms is that we usually suffer alone, right? Not very common to be going out there and talking about poops and gas and heartburn and all that fun stuff with your friends, right? Or your family. So, we can feel embarrassed and ashamed, and we become very isolated in our sickness. So, when you're within a supportive community of people who you can identify with, you're alone no more, right? And, once again, I am also available within the community for all the support too, right? So now you see what these 5 elements of the ultimate digestive freedom formula are. We have root cause, right? Figuring out what is that root cause for you. We've got step-by-step instructions. We've got the holistic approach. We've got coaching. We've got community and accountability, right? So I have found that this is the winning combination that really ensures that you're able to get the results that you desire. So those are the 5 ways that you can achieve your own personal freedom. Most definitely. So now I would like to tell you a little bit more about how we can figure out if this is what we're supposed to be doing. But we'll do a quick summary. The 3 secrets. Secret 1, treating the root cause is crucial to getting rid of your symptoms for good, right? We've discovered that, we're probably at the point where we're just patching symptoms, right? And we've learned that the root cause is really what we need to address in order to get relief. Secret 2, we learned about our own misconceptions about what's going on in the body and the problem and how to approach it. And also possibly these old ideas and lies that we've been telling ourselves that keep us stuck in the problem, right? Now we know that we have to switch our thinking to get us into the solution, right? Most definitely. And then secret three, the discovery I made that changed everything. And that's sort of like the five elements needed to be included in a program that's really going to work to get you back to health, right? It's super powerful because this is literally the exact method that I use with all of my clients to get them to digestive freedom, right? We looked at them all, root cause, step-by-step plan, a holistic approach involving the body, mind, and the spirit, as well as professional support. And what's the last one? Oh, yes, counting and a coachability. I should have it memorized by now, I know, but sometimes I get those blank spots. So these are the five elements that we really need to kind of make sure we're touching on in order to get a complete healing. So at the beginning of the training today, I made you a promise, and I promised you that by the end, I would show you how to shift from being a prisoner to your symptoms to knowing exactly how you can get rid of them for good. So here's the thing I want you to remember, right? Everything I shared with you today, it's not some random theory or some idea that I kind of hope is going to work for you. Everything that I shared today, it works. You know, it worked for me and it worked for my clients, and they all started from a similar spot that you are in today. Um, and I'm not special. They're not special. No offense, Monique, but really, we are all busy. We all have families and careers and a million things that pull us in every direction every day. And, if they can do it, and if I can do it, then there's no reason why you can't also, right? Monique, let me see what you're saying. With gut issues, you live your life as a bystander because there's so many things you can't participate in. Your life is not supposed to be a spectator sport. You are meant to live. This program brings you back to life, to the present. Oh, that is amazing, Monique. Thank you so much. I hope it's okay, but I'm going to quote that and put it in a post because I really love how you put that. Amazing. Yeah. It's something special, right? To be on that healing journey and to get to a place where you realize that there really is more to life and you really can show up fully, right? I love it. Thank you so much for that. All right. So aside from what Monique has just said, there's a few other things here that are, little things that other women have said about the program. These are just some of the things that the clients inside the program have experienced, right? You can see there, we've got cravings gone, bloating gone, weight lost. The one there in the center, Lisa, she had the need for her medication decrease in just the third week of the program, right? And by the end, she came off her acid reducing medication 100%. I've got another woman in the program right now, Debbie. She had diabetes. We got her off her metformin. We got her sugars back under control. Like, there's a healing of the gut if I ever saw one, right? But I really love, the emotional side of things, of course, right? When you hear words in here like excited, motivated, and inspired, like I love that stuff. That inspires me. That's why I do this stuff, right? It's beautiful. And this is something that Sarah, she graduated actually last month. This is what she had to say. She said, well, my heartburn has gone away after 25 years. My gas is gone when eating clean, but only returns minimally when not eating clean, right? So this just means, she can get away with having treats now for the most part without having any problems. I've lost 25 pounds. But the biggest positive experience I've gotten from this is control. Knowing how to control my symptoms, knowing how to take my body back has been such an emotional game changer for me. Like, it's incredible, like super empowering, right? Some of the foundational principles, that we go through in the Content Hub, they seem so simple and so easy that, women always say to me that they're amazed at this huge effect that it has on their symptoms, right? Being able to achieve regular digestion and a new knowledge that this is now the new way of doing things because it works. I just love it. It's so good. It's so good. Okay, so you have a choice. You can continue to do what you're doing, or you can choose a simpler path that's laid out for you within the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula. The choice is yours. All right. So now, just to wrap us up, I would like to be able to share how I can support you in this, right? Because how are you supposed to know if this is going to work for you? How are you supposed to know if this is the solution you've been looking for? It's not a one size fits all. I can't just say to everybody, yes, it's going to help you. Perfect, for sure. I only bring people into this program who I know are going to benefit from what we do here. So my job is to be able to give you the right information so that you can get to the results that you want. All right. So basically, how do you figure out if this is the right, choice for you individually? We do that by hopping on the phone together, sorry, on a call. I personally want to support you with this decision. We do something that I like to call my digestive freedom discovery call. And this is where I see if I am able to help you, if we're also a good fit to work together, right? So I've set aside some time over the next few days to speak with each and every one of you personally. This way, you'll be able to see if it's the right step for you, right? We have to kind of see if this is going to help for you. Wait now, one second. There we go. I didn't close up. Normally I close the presentation now when I try to get this link. I'm going to pop the link in the chat here for everybody. That is the link for you to be able to find a time for us to have a chat, right? We have a 45-minute call. We talk about what's going on for you. We talk about if this solution will work for you and if it feels right. You'll be able to kind of see how the system can work for you, and you'll definitely learn more about what your own unique root cause is for what's going on for you. So when you click the link, I just want to show you what it looks like so that you know how to use this online scheduler, but it's pretty straightforward. Once you're in there, you notice that the first thing you do is you put in your own time zone. Then the calendar pops up and shows you what days you can choose from. So once you choose, whatever day and time works best for you, you just pop in your name, you put in your phone number because I'm going to call you, and then you put in your email address. After you schedule your call, then you get an email confirmation right away. That's why you put your email address in. So make sure you look in your junk folder if you don't find your email confirmation. In the email, then it will give you all the information you need, but it's super simple. I call you. You just show up and we have a conversation. Simple, easy peasy, okay? I contact you at the time you have chosen on your phone number, so you don't have to worry. So now that you've kind of seen how to make the appointment with me, I just want to tell you on this call what I do. Basically, I'm going to talk to you about what's going on for you right now. And my job is to help you gain clarity around what's going on for you in this moment, right? Like what the challenges are, and what direction you should move forward in to get control over those challenges. We will work together on the call to make sure that this is the right answer for you and that you and I are also a good fit to work together. Then, no matter what we come up with, whether it's a yes or whether it's a no, you will still gain so much from the call because you'll kind of have that clarity about what it is going on for me, right? Where should I go? What direction should I move in to get healing? So, no matter what we come up with, you're going to leave with a clear plan on how to propel your success, okay? And the call is free, 100% free, if you're someone who knows that in order for you to succeed, you need to be supported, you need to be shown what you need to learn about the digestive system, and you need to be held accountable, then perfect. We can talk about all of this on the call to see if this program is a good fit for you. And if it's not, like I said, it's totally fine. You're going to leave the call anyway with tips, with value, with clarity, about what direction you should be going in. You're going to leave the call either way with a new confidence. And no matter what happens, we'll part as friends. You can continue to be a part of the community no matter what. But, if you're just not sure what to do next, then book this call. It is the only way you're going to be able to make a decision. Okay, ladies, now it's time for the attendance gift. Thank you all so much for being here. Uh-oh, am I going to screw this up? Nope, right click. Come on. It's not working. Let me just see. Here we go. Okay. I always end up shutting down the whole presentation when I try to grab the link. I don't know why. Okay, and there it is. Now, if for some reason you have an issue with this link or with getting your gift, Don't worry, I will make sure you get it. I have the registration list here of everybody who's registered. You just click the link and it should just start downloading onto your computer. You could also copy and paste it and pop it into a browser on your screen as well. But just send me a note, an email, a message, whatever, if you do not get it or have an issue, and I will make sure that you get that. No problem. Um, so this gives you, an example of one of the ways you can start your journey, right? One thing you can do to, get the ball rolling, maybe, but it also gives you a great example of the high quality meal plans that I offer as well. And you have unlimited access to as many meal plans as you want in your time in the program as well. Just an FYI. Amazing. Okay, perfect. All right, now I have a couple of questions that I just want to run through, common questions that people ask. First question, do I call you or do you call me? How does this work? It's simple, guys. You're putting your number in and I call you, right? Um, all you got to do is answer. Easy peasy. The next question I often get. So I eat meat, I eat dairy, I really love bread. I don't want to give them up. Should I still book a call? Yes, you should. Remember what we learned today. It is not the food's fault, right? If you heal your gut and learn how to rebalance that microbiome, you should be able to digest your foods from each food group with no problem, right? So definitely there's no ifs, ands, or buts about foods that stop you from being eligible for this. Another question? I'm super busy right now. Should I still book a call? Yeah, definitely, right? Like we talked about on the training, life is crazy and things never really do calm down, right? So we are all busy, but it's better to be kind of healthy and strong and able to keep up with your busy life, right? So, you really do want to book a call for sure. Busy or not, it could probably help. What I've found that it streamlines life a lot more easily, right? So if you're busy, it can make things seem a bit more manageable. Next question I get, I am currently on whatever diet, right? Weight Watchers or keto or whatever. Should I still book a call? Yes, definitely book a call. In the call, we're going to look specifically at these types of things as well. And I will say, I suspect that if this diet was working for you, you probably wouldn't be here anyway on this training. So definitely, book the call. And I will say, using my method, you don't have to be on a type of diet when we're done. You know what I mean? That's it, definitely. So I'm going to drop that call link again here in the chat just to make sure everybody has got it. One more time. There we go. And that's it. We did it, everybody. I want to thank you all so much for being here. You guys are a great group to go through this training with. And Monique, I have to say it was beautiful to have you here as a graduate of the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula. You're a testimony to all of us that this thing really works. And you are a pleasure to work with. You always showed up and you're amazing. So all the love. And it's awesome to see you as well. Definitely. I appreciate you being here. Thanks to everybody else for being here as well. And like I said before, my mission, my purpose on this planet, and that is not too strong a term to use, is to really support the right people, and prevent them from having to experience what I did, prevent them from having to experience more of a decline in their health, right? And give them a simple, straightforward way to tackle the problem and bring balance back to the body. So if you booked a call, I can't wait to talk with you. The call really is about me trying to be of service to you. Promise that it's all there is here. And we both agree that we're a good fit and this is a right answer for you, then we can figure out how to move forward and what that looks like. But no matter what, the call is a way that you will get something out of this and learn more about your current situation for sure. I'm really looking forward to talking with you. Yes, Monique, love you, my friend, and you are so welcome. Thank you for trusting me with your health and thank you for showing up. Appreciate it so much. And take care, everybody else. Hope y'all are having a great day, and I really look forward to chatting with you all soon. All right, take good care and we will talk to everybody else soon. Okay, see you later.